The Octagon returned to the land down under this past weekend with a stacked card for UFC 325 at the Qudos Bank Arena, Sydney, Australia. In the co-main event, Frenchman Benoit Saint Denis is eyeing the top five once again after bludgeoning New Zealander Dan Hooker en route to a stoppage victory. And in the main event, hometown hero Alexander Volkanovski gets his moment in Sydney, outclassing Diego Lopes for the second time over 5 rounds, tying legend Jose Aldo and earning his 8th featherweight title fight victory. Welcome to Fight Week on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. This is your review of UFC 325. I'm Adam Catterall. It is a pleasure as always to be in your company and the company of these two. There's a different face here today. Yes. First and foremost, one that's always here. Look at the smiling assassin. He's ready to get stuck into this. The one and only Mr. Nick Peet. And coming to join us, because Mr. Bisping is currently in Australia and the time differences didn't all match up, I thought what we'd do, we get the main man in. We get the tank in to talk about everything that's going on this fantastic main card. Jack Shore is back on the show. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, all good, boys. Glad to be back. Glad to be back after a massive night of fights once again.
It was a sensational night of fights. And obviously, Jack, I've just got to let you know that he's still celebrating his birthday. It was his birthday over the weekend. He's still buzzing for turning over another year. So happy birthday to you, Nicholas. Did you have a nice celebration?
I did actually, yeah. I was actually down in London on my own at the boxing, but you know what? That's sometimes the way I like to spend my birthday. So, and Liverpool won. Liverpool put a couple of goals past Newcastle as well. So, all in all, I had a fantastic weekend. And Volk did it for us old guys. That's all that matters. Makes me feel good inside.
Look at that. Those 30-something pluses, Nick, yeah?
Yeah, that'll do me, yeah. That's my
30-something
category,
pluses,
yeah.
they're the
Correct.
ones. That's the category, innit, mate? Right, let's get stuck into this main event, shall we? Because he did do it once again. The Benjamin Button of MMA, rolling back the years. Alexander Volkanovski with another title defence in the featherweight division, doing the business over Diego Lopes for a second time. Jack, what, I'm running out of words for him, mate. The great is getting greater.
Do you know what? Coming into the fight, the story was, is he going to start slowing? Are we going to see some chinks in the armour? Especially against a guy, Diego Lopes, second shot at the title, young, hungry, knows this is it. And he just proved, Volt, didn't he, that you can get better with age. A little bit tentative to start, tit for tat early on, but once he settled in, we've seen that championship calibre shine through. The setups, the striking, the combinations. And one thing I was really impressed with was the world-class defence. He actually ended up using Diego Lopes' aggression against him. And even more dominant than the first fight. The first fight was a good one, but this one, total shutout for me. Much more dominant than the first fight. And once again, showing why we all believe that he is the featherweight GOAT.
The display, as Jack just said, Nick, was truly remarkable. He's got a fantastic record with these rematches, hasn't he? He seems to download the data and then you just can't get near him in the second or third fight whenever he comes together with these opponents once again. Is that how you looked at it? Do you have a look at Diego Lopes? Maybe there's a slight bit of disappointment there that he didn't go and roll the dice, or was it just a case of, as Jack's just alluding to there, that he just couldn't because Volk was that good?
Yeah, I thought throughout the 5 rounds, whenever Diego did go, that's when Volk hit him hardest. That's when Volk walked him onto that straight right hand. That's when Volk switched sides and attacked the body. Like every time Diego tried to put the pressure on, that's when Volk made him pay for it. So we did get a little bit of a patient chess match at times, but it was always just seemed to Volk that dominated the dance, the geography of the fight, as the great Teddy Atlas likes to say. Whoever dominates the geography, whoever dictates where the fight's taking place, dictates the pace of the fight. And it was all fought at Volk's pace. That is experience. That is what an old statesman does. That's what a guy that's been there, done it, owns the t-shirt shop does. He dictates where the fight takes place, when the action explodes. And when it does explode, he has the final say on every exchange. Honestly, being someone that's post-37 myself, let me tell you now, kids, bits start dropping off. When you get to a certain age, bits start dropping off. Recovery rates takes forever. Like what Volk is doing now, we just have to stop and just check for a moment. What he's doing now is absolutely insane. For these lighter weight divisions where there's so much speed, athleticism, fast twitch, muscle fiber, it means so much the smaller you get in this sport. And for the fact that he is still the dominant force at the age of 37, it's not natural. He is not a normal human being. And I guess that's why we call him the Great.
Jack, come on, man. Right, I want your expert knowledge on this, right? Because I think I know what I'm looking at. I know that you definitely know what you're looking at. What makes this guy so great? What's he doing in there?
As Nick said, I think he's just so good at making his opponent uncomfortable. Now, whenever I watch Diego Lopes fight, he's great at allowing his opponent to go first and then truly punishing them when they come into punch range. Volk's defense and his ability to go first and then third is just so good. He opens with the jab. The minute Lopez tried to punish him, no. Defense, counter, take the leg kick, here's a body kick, here's a combination to deal with. Maybe I'll mix in a takedown as well. He just moved Lopez's mind all around the octagon to the point where, at times, he had him frozen. Like we said, I was expecting him to just explode and go for it. But that's not because he didn't choose to do that. That's because Volk was so good and just prevented him from doing so.
Let's talk about pressure, Nick, right? Because that doesn't look like a man that was feeling any pressure whatsoever. First time for him to be able to defend a crown on Australian soil. I know that he stepped up in Perth to take on Islam Makhachev to try and become a champion again in a different weight division. But this is the first time that he's had the opportunity within the UFC to defend his belt, defend his crown, defend his soil, as he was saying throughout the course of the week. He's coming out, singing Men at Work, having a whale of a time. He's already got his gummy in. He don't care, mate. He's having a party with everybody, dancing. No pressure whatsoever. Well, if he was feeling pressure, he wasn't showing it, was he?
No, not at all, no. And to be honest, I'm upset with you because you sold me on the gloves coming off. You said to me when we did the preview show, you said, listen, win, lose or draw. What a perfect way for Volk to ride off in the sunset. He'll take his gloves off, he'll put them down. And I was thinking, it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. I've got to see this. I've got to see Volk live. I've got to be awake when the moment happens when he takes his gloves off. Then I watch him absolutely put on a clinic for 25 minutes and I'm thinking, this fella's going nowhere. I'm not surprised he started calling out the next generation. If you're performing like that against someone as talented and capable all round and dangerous, a big striker, fantastic submission game, Diego Lopes ticks every box in this sport. But when you are on the next level up, when you are Alexander Volkanovski, you have nothing to fear. I don't know how long he's going to go on for. I don't know how long this run, this second chapter as champion is going to take. But right now, we're talking about a guy that is already guaranteed Hall of Fame, that is competing every event to better himself and to justify his slot as the best featherweight we've ever seen in the sport.
Mate, I only said that because I'm absolutely livid. We did a What Went Down with him for TNT Sports a couple of years ago, right? Where we basically documented his whole brilliant career. Since then, he's won the belt back and now he's adding more chapters to this story. I'm going to have to go back and do part 2 with him. He's unbelievable what the fella's doing. And as you've just alluded to there, Nick, he's already calling out the next generation, insinuating that Lerone Murphy, who's on a brilliant win streak in this division, taking on Movsar Evloev, who's also on a brilliant win streak. Jack, let's be honest, that's the fight, isn't it? For number one contender. Get them two together. Let's duke it out. Let's see who the number one contender is, and then Volk can deal with him at the end of the year.
It's got to be. This is what combat sports is all about. You know, we don't want what happens in boxing, or should it be this guy, should it be that guy? No. Let's take the 2 top guys in the division, make them fight, and the winner can go and fight the champ. And I think that's why we love Volk the way we do, because he's not looking for the easy fights. He's like, find out which one of you two is the best, and then I'll see you in a couple of months' time.
Well, let's do it. There's a perfect time to be able to do that, Mr. UFC. Obviously, we can do that for London, maybe. Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev. And then maybe Abu Dhabi at the end of the year for the winner of that versus Volkanovski. What do you reckon, Nick?
Commissioner says yes. Sign that off. Get Volk on a plane. I want to see Volk cage side in London, please.
Only because you want to go out with him. Only because
there's that as well. There's that as well. But I want to see Volk in London ready for a face-off with the winner. Absolutely. I'll tell you what I've got, though. I've got a bit of a theory about Volk, and I want to run this one past Jack, and that's this second stage of his career, this new run, this new campaign as featherweight champion, it seemed to be a rebirth of him, has coincided with this lifestyle change that he's had. He's become farmer Volk now. He moved out to the countryside. Like, his entire life has changed. Though he's moved home, no doubt his girls have gone to a different school now. He's training at a different gym. Is that different look kind of re-energized him his soul, his personality, everything else. I think when you've been fighting at the highest level for such a long time, when you're parking on the same driveway, when you're going to the same gym, when you're doing the same school run, your life becomes repetitive. Maybe you get bored of your life and ultimately bored of your career. I think this move out to becoming Farmer Volk and all these big changes might just have lit a flame under him to make his career have a completely, as I say, this Indian summer. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I also think that it may have truly shown him the love he has for the sport. You know, as we know, a lot of guys, they want to fight to pay their house off and get the nice car, set their kids up, and then kind of walk away. Volk did all that 2, 3, 4 years ago. And like you said, he's Farmer Volk now. He's got the rants, he's got the new gym, and he's still getting better, and he's still training as hard as he ever is. So perhaps, you know, having a little taste of the finer things in life has made him think, you know, I do love this, and as long as I'm able to do it, I'll continue to do so.
Now then, let's get into this co-main event, shall we? Because it was billed as a potential fight of the night extravaganza, and boy, did it live up to all our expectations. These two guys absolutely threw down. It was Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint Denis, with the Frenchman coming through and carrying on his surge in the lightweight division, Jack.
Yeah, look, it was everything we expected to be. For me, Hooker come out absolutely on fire. You know, he's punishing the body, his takedown defense looked great, using that ninja choke, that guillotine we've seen him use against Arman, and really flustering BSD a little bit. But you don't get the nickname God of War, you know, for no good reason. And BSD did what he does, caused chaos, you know, caused the madness, and then once he hit that takedown, it fast became the beginning of the end. You know, relentless cardio, relentless ground and pound, really brutalised Hooker from underneath, and it was just a matter of time, I felt like, when he was dropping them big elbows and nearly had the head and arm, you know, it would just look like it was getting worse and worse and worse for Hooker, and eventually, obviously, the referee stepped in and called it a day. And to be known as the most violent man in the UFC, like Dan Hooker is, you know, him and Gaethje, to then have someone go in there and out-violence him in BSD, for me, that pushes him right into to title talks, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And Nick, I wouldn't like to play poker with Benoit Saint Denis, because them teeps early doors from Dan Hooker looked like they did cause some damage, but that face didn't shift, man. He kept them eyes nice and steel, and he didn't give the game away.
He didn't know, but he certainly was in retreat mode, you know, and I'm surprised Dan and certainly Dan's team weren't all over that a little bit more, because certainly the commentary team picked up on it, and you could visibly see Benoit, even though he didn't show it in his face, his forward momentum completely dropped off. And you're right, it was 2 or maybe even 3 of those teep kicks really dug deep and stung him in the belly. And it took all the momentum out of Benoit Saint Denis. And I think at that point, that was Dan's big moment to really try and explode then and get the crowd behind him and get going. But in fact, it was Benoit that got the takedown towards the end of the round, got some ground and pound going, and probably stole that round away as well, even though it was, even though, as you say, Dan had a good start. Second round, of course, he got the takedown that really mattered most and done an awful lot of damage. Benoit Saint Denis, for me, was defined as a future title contender the night he lost to Dustin Poirier. Sometimes we talk about fighters and needing a loss to go back to the drawing board, all that stuff. Losing to Dustin Poirier, I know he lost to Renato Moicano after that as well, but I think when you get to the top of the tree and you suffer those defeats and it sends you back to the drawing board, this new version of Benoit Saint Denis looks like no stone is unturned. He realises that there's no shortcuts in this career, and this guy is on a mission. I feel sorry for whoever gets matched with him next, because he is an absolute monster.
Well, that's the avenue that I want to try and explore, because on the microphone, he's obviously talking about the winner of the BMF, which is coming up at UFC 326 between Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. I think that would be a fantastic piece of matchmaking for BSD if he got that. He also mentioned Ilia Topuria. Who doesn't want to see a bit of France versus Spain, eh? That'd be tremendous. But there's also the name that nobody mentions, Arman Sarukian. What do you reckon, Jack? Is that the one for a number 1 eliminator?
I mean, I think a lot of how we see the division play out is going to fall on that BMF title fight. For me, I'll chuck another little curveball in the mix. I'd love to see him fight in a couple of months' time with Paddy the Baddie. I think styles make fights. You know, they're both very, very wild on the feet, and they can both grapple. You know, Paddy's grappling is elite level. BSD's grappling is elite level, but in very different ways. You know, we've seen Paddy jump the flying triangle, the flying guillotine, you know, putting people to sleep off his back. We've seen BSD absolutely brutalize people from half guard, from mount, from the top position. For me, I think that's picture perfect matchmaking for an international fight week in Vegas, dependent on how soon, obviously, Paddy wants to come back.
Look at that. Jack's bloodthirsty. He wants claret all over the octagon. Is what he wants. That's what he wants, Nick. How do you see this division now playing out? Because BSD is a player. After what he's done last night and the surge that he's on, he's absolutely a player in the conversation at the top table.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to come on to Rafael Fiziev and his fight against Maurizio Ruffy, but if Fiziev would have come through there, I think the natural fight to make would have been with Benoit Saint Denis. I think this BMF title fight is very important to the division. I think the rebirth of Justin Gaethje. I think Gaethje now is in a position where he's kind of like, well, it's a title shot or nothing for me at this stage in my career. And then you've got, as you said, the elephant in the room in Arman Tsarukyan. If the UFC do go down the path of putting Gaethje in with a title fight, you've got the BMF belts kind of tied up there. Those guys are probably going to knock 7 belts out of each other. Why not do Benoit Saint Denis versus Arman Tsarukyan? He's asked for it. Most people won't ask for Arman Tsarukyan. He asked for it, so I've got no issue with that fight taking place at all. And as I say, this version of Benoit Saint Denis, honestly, he's a handful for anybody in this division.
So there you have it. A fantastic performance from Benoit Saint Denis has him shooting up the lightweight rankings, and also shooting up the lightweight rankings is Maurizio Ruffy. A lot of pressure on him coming into this fight with Rafa Fiziev. A lot of pressure going into the fight for Rafa Fiziev as well. It was a brilliant piece of matchmaking, but it was the man from Brazil via Australia now that got the job done, Jack.
Yeah, look, when they matched this fight up, we signed up for an high-level striking match, and that's exactly what we got. Early doors, I felt like Ruffy was having the more eye-catching moments, but I did see Fiziev, working away at the body kicks, working away at the legs, and I thought, that this is going to pay dividends, I think, later on. He had him backed up, but, Ruffy showed us again why he's such a big name so early on into his UFC career. Conor McGregor-esque, just our ability to put you away and end the fight with one shot. And that's exactly what he did. The pull right hand again, like we've seen him do many times. Put Fiziev on skates, and it was just the beginning of the end. He didn't let him off the up. At one point, he did get back to his feet, but fast back down. And a massive, massive statement win because, Fiziev is known as one of the elite strikers in the lightweight division. The problems he's had to come against grapplers. So to knock him out and do it in that way definitely pushes Ruffy up the rankings. And also, he hasn't been finished since 2019 either. So to put him away is crazy.
Yeah, since his UFC debut, he's been in twice with Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje didn't put him away. I know that it's obviously a couple of years back that, but from a Ruffy point of view, Nick, you were in Paris, you saw him get dominated, and there was questions about character and whether he was all for this game. Well, he absolutely is all for this game, and he made some big changes in this camp as well to get to this point.
Yeah, taking his camp over to Australia, training alongside Volk, coming away from the fighting nerds for the first time, aren't decisions that anybody takes lightly. But he obviously felt like with a bit of soul search, and he needed a different look, a different feel. It was a Brazilian team in his corner on the night, but he obviously just thought like he needed something else to bring out the best in him. And the best of Maurizio Ruffy is capable of competing with anybody in the world. But it was back to that creative, dynamic striking that he entertained us with so much before. And again, I talked earlier about Benoit Saint Denis, how losses have now defined his career, how he's come back from it. And Ruffy's just done exactly the same thing. Because you've got a fight here where 2.5 minutes in, Rafael Fiziev is just dominating the action. He's got he's coming in lovely, he's throwing body kicks, leg kicks, he's rolling in tight, Mike Tyson style, keeping the head off the inside line, peppering, and he's just forcing Ruffy up against the fence. But he just has a look at him for 2.5 minutes, and he's like, right, okay, I've seen all your reads now, I've seen all your tells, have a bit of that, bang, straight down the middle. And once he stung Fiziev once or twice, that was it then. Rafa Fiziev started hesitating. He started hesitating, and he was getting into the same positions he was earlier on, but he wasn't letting go because he was hesitating about what's coming back. And what did come back eventually was that straight right hand, as Jack says, spins him 180 degrees, absolutely almost laid him out. Credit for Rafa for staying on his feet, but he wasn't able to stay on his feet long. And it was another highlight reel moment from Ruffy, who is, again, a future title contender in this division. The guy is the real deal.
Now then, Cullen Salkilld. A little bit of Australian on Australian violence to kick off this main card. Taking on Jamie Malarkey, a seasoned veteran. And my word, off the back of his performance at the back end of last year against Nasrat Haqparast, where he gives us a knockout of the year performance, the dude now decides, I'll tell you what, we'll do it. We'll do it on the ground. We'll submit somebody. We'll just show him how well-rounded I am. He's a real problem, this kid in this division, isn't he?
You know, people are online calling him the best prospect in the UFC. And he did everything that you're meant to do when that statement is surrounding your name. As you said, last year, KO of the year potentially. What does he do this fight? Comes out. It's a beautiful step round body lock takedown. Doesn't even hesitate in the scramble, takes it back and chokes out a real tough gatekeeper in Jamie Malarkey, who, you know, has been in there with some of the best guys at welterweight and lightweight. So the sky's the limit for this kid. You know, he keeps doing all the right things. He's a character as well, but he's got the skills to back it up. And ultimately, you know, you can be as big a personality as you want, but if you can't back it up in the octagon, it doesn't make a difference. But this kid can do both.
And that is the key thing, what Jack just said there, isn't it, Nick? He does have the personality. We met him out in the Middle East last year, didn't we? He's got a wicked mullet, which I'm very jealous of. He can grow a tash as well. And, most importantly, he can fight.
Well, he's the poster boy for Australian pop culture right now, isn't he? All these Aussies are rocking mullets and little moustaches again now. Like that's just, he is a quintessential Australian bloke, drives a ute and all that kind of business. But Jack's right, he's got the personality, but this kid can fight, man. And we talked about it. We were there where he sent Haqparast to the shadow realm, and we were like, wait a minute, this guy's not even a striker. He's not a knockout guy. He's a submission guy. He's a grappling guy. And I think on Saturday night, he just wanted to remind the world, listen, that you might know me for being the viral head kick knockout, but actually, this is what I'm all about, kids. And once he grabbed hold of Malarkey, he hit the nail on the head himself when he climbed on top of that fence and he told the world, easy work. And it was easy work. Salkilld, don't forget, this is back in Australia. This is against another Australian. It's a derby. You know, the room's going to be divided because of where you come from and all that kind of business. Pressure's on because people want you to deliver again. And he absolutely delivered. He is, we're repeating ourselves on this show, he is a real problem in this lightweight division. He may not be ranked yet, but if I was like number 14, number 15 guy, the Fizievs of this world, I would be worried that phone call was coming, because this guy is the future at 155.
Indeed, mate. Listen, UFC 325 absolutely delivered. What a night in Sydney. That's 2 back-to-back numbered cards in the can already. And we'll be back for UFC 326. We'll give you a little bit of a break, all right, a little bit of a breather. We'll throw in some fight nights along the way. But we'll be back at the start of March for the BMF title between Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira.
At lightweight again. Insane.
But for now, what a blast we had in Sydney at UFC 325. Benoit Saint Denis was on a mission to take out Dan Hooker, stopping the New Zealander in the second round of the lightweight core main event. And Alexander Volkanovski makes history at featherweight, showing us all once again why he really is the great. Dismantling a game, Diego Lopez, over 5 rounds to retain the gold at £145. We'll catch you next time.